Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon from wherever you are. Warm welcome to this webinar, Top Video Surveillance Technology Trends in 2021. And today we are presenting the Milestone and Scylla collaboration and integration together with Albert and myself. So again, warm welcome, and let's kick it off. We hope today that we are able to provide you some nice insights in what our joint solution can bring, and to tell you more about the trends that we see in the market of artificial intelligence and threat detection. So let's kick it off.
Perfect. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon who is joining from Europe. So today, as Roy said already, we're going to present you a joint solution which includes Milestone video management system, which to my opinion is the leading in the world globally, right? And then Scylla, which we call as the leading physical threat detection solution. And today we're going to cover the top trends in the video technology world, right? Explain you differences between the traditional or embedded video analytics in comparison to deep learning based solutions such as Scylla, right? And also all the benefits you get with us, our mission, our values, our ethical boundaries, where we stand currently and where we move together. So today on the webinar, it will be myself. I'm the CEO and the founder of Scylla, Scylla is based out of Texas, United States. We operate globally. We have two offices, one in Texas, which is the headquarters, and one in Armenia, in Eastern Europe, where we cover the Middle East and then Southeast Pacific. And together with me, I have Roy Bent, who is our good friend and community manager from Milestone. So Roy is specifically helping solution partners such as Scylla connect and integrate within Milestone system, provides them global support with marketing and sales, and also with integration and support issues within Milestone. So Roy, maybe you present yourself as well.
Yeah, so I'm Roy Bent, like Albert said, community manager at Milestone Systems. Currently around 6 years within Milestone Systems, and responsible for the technology partnerships within Milestone. And in this way we try to drive the initiatives and creating joint value with our platform XProtect together with our technology partners like Scylla. So that's me.
Perfect, thank you, Roy. A bit about myself. So I'm an independent security consultant. I also was involved in AI/security consulting globally. I was involved in security operations in Mexico, in Colombia, in Middle East, in Eastern Europe, in the United States, obviously. And this is my passion. So it's not only my job, it's a passion for me. I understand it, and I'm driving the global growth of Scylla based on my experience in both worlds, right? Security and AI, which is essentially what Scylla is about. A bit about our mission. So at Scylla, we empower the private security industry with next generation AI solutions. So these are not just words for us. Our mission is coming deep from our values, because we believe that the private sector is the future of security, global safety. Scylla essentially tries to keep people safe across the globe. We are operating in schools, we are operating in airports, we are operating in critical infrastructure, and we disrupt the traditional video analytics globally. So to our opinion, we are like the Prometheus, right? The old Greek Titan. So when Prometheus stole fire from the gods, he dared to challenge the order created by the older gods. When we created Scylla, we challenged the order created by traditional embedded video analytics providers, or providers that provide a closed ecosystem, such as Avigilon, BriefCam, you name it. And our mission and our philosophy is different. So we believe that by partnering with the best in-class hardware providers, such as the German robotics company, right? So we have a couple of participants here. By combining our forces with the best-in-class video management systems, such as Milestone, and providing best-in-class video analytics, such as Scylla, which is based deep learning, we create a better world. And we democratize that, right? So we make security accessible to those who couldn't afford it otherwise before. Because if you work with traditional embedded or closed ecosystem providers, such as mentioned before, they tend to choose who they sell to. They tend to choose who should be safe or not. And they also dictate the market value plus the pricing. So we, coming from our deep values, right? And because we are engineers and security consultants in mind and in soul, we believe in open source infrastructure, and open source is created by the connection of different groups and different bits and pieces together. So we believe that the hardware manufacturers should continue creating the best hardware. The VMS providers such as Milestone should continue creating the best video management solutions. And then there should be a place for companies such as Scylla, which are focused to only one goal, right? Create the best video analytics solution globally and make it accessible to everyone. In this sense, Scylla makes the camera surveillance environment proactive instead of reactive. So we save lives, costs, and much more. Roy, maybe you talk a bit about the mission behind Milestone.
Yeah, so thanks for that, Albert. Yeah, about myself, I'm approximately more than 20 years within the video surveillance industry. So I've seen a lot of systems being developed over time, starting with the traditional analog systems where systems were merely used as a recording, and no data was actually derived, or actionable insights were created from data, up till the smart and intelligent systems they became today. So it's really interesting to see how video technology is evolving over time, with especially partners like Scylla. So if we move on to the next slide. Yeah, Milestone Systems is basically one of the global leaders within the open platform video management technology for IP-based video surveillance. And our purpose is to make the world see and see the opportunities, and we try to do that with the independent open platform that we create, and that brings people and solutions together to create the best of breed solutions, and also the solutions that are available in any price point or any market industry that these solutions should be available. And this openness provides the customers basically the freedom of choice of their cameras, of course, which was the basis of Milestone, but also in technology. So it's very important to have that freedom of choice as well. So by combining the best of breed, we really believe that combining that creates the best business outcomes for our customers.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Roy. So let me cover a bit what Scylla does and which industries we operate, right? So Scylla currently provides 8 solutions which are packaged into suites. We have bundles which are being deployed together with appliances, or we have software licenses which do not require appliances, right? They can run on your own hardware, such as Milestone Husky or other servers, right, which are in place. And we also have cloud or hybrid solutions where we can connect to existing video cameras through Milestone or directly, and we can perform false alarm filtering, which is a huge issue in the industry, right? Because they are using classical VMD-based motion detectors, which are faulty by design. So let me cover a couple of industries which we run. So we started, and our sweet spot is physical security. Within physical security space, we operate in, as I said before, in schools, we operate in hospitals, we operate in industrial manufacturing, we operate on the border control, we operate in the critical infrastructure, protection of nuclear plants, forward operating base protection, right? And we try to do this best, and we try to do this together with partners, video management system providers and OEM partners which produce cameras. Where Scylla stands apart, it's basically the accuracy, the low number of false positives, and even using deep learning analytics, we could achieve the lowest requirements within hardware consumption, GPU base. But at the same time, being a physical security provider, we have our own ethical boundaries, right? So based out of our mission, we normally tend to control the end user relationship. Even when we do channel sales, we want to know who is using our system and where he is using, right? Because we as a company want to understand that our system is used only for ethical purposes. And specifically within our facial recognition solution, our system should never be used for the persecution of your own citizens, right? Or understanding people which are opposing your own political or personal views. Besides that, when Scylla gun detection or Scylla intruder detection or behavior detection is used, and it's used for the good, for saving lives, we essentially don't care where we save lives or how, right? We want our system to be used globally. So if we can save lives across the globe in any country, then the system should be used for good. Then we are definitely in for that. But let's stop the ethical discussion, which I like to do a lot, because that's kind of coming from my personal beliefs, and let's cover the solutions that we provide, right? So the physical security solution essentially includes the following features. So we can detect guns, visible guns, pretty accurately from your existing cameras, and we can detect them from high and long distances, and also from different scenarios and backgrounds, right? We can detect them from HD cameras, 4K cameras, 8K cameras, drones, or 20 megapixel cameras, such as helicopter cameras. The beauty about Scylla that we are not limited to moving backgrounds, means we can work on any type of environment, bad lighting conditions, night vision mode, etc. Because the unique way we trained our system. The data we collect is all proprietary and it's all developed in-house. And we have millions and millions of data sets of different types of suspicious activities, such as fights, guns, intruders, or anomaly behaviors, right? The second suite which we provide, and it was very actual last year and still continues, that's the full COVID-19 compliance, where we detect PPEs, basically personal protective equipment such as masks. We detect people with elevated skin temperature. In this case, we utilize proprietary hardware. For example, the German robotics manufacturer, which is one of our best partners in this case. So we can improve the accuracy of the robotics cameras. We can identify if the people have an elevated skin temperature. We can improve the calibration process of the robotics cameras, and we all automate all that. All those streams are coming into one centralized command and control center, such as Milestone. The system is used widely in retail suites. So in retail, people are normally interested in understanding the merchandise efforts, intruders, and potential shoplifting. The system is also used heavily in the industrial safety, because using computer vision, we can detect smoke and fire in those places when the heat sensors are producing a high rate of false alarms. For example, in the airport, if the personnel is smoking below the plane, and there's a potential explosion below the gas tank, Scylla, using existing cameras, can detect that. You don't need human operators. All the feeds are coming into the Milestone, and then using Milestone workflows, you can automate the whole workflow, right? What to do with that alarm? Who is responding to that alarm? Should they basically respond to that specific area, the geolocation, etc. The system is also, we started in schools, so we are running together with Milestone in the 5th largest school districts in the United States, which is Clark County School District, and it's also used in the sports arena. Some of our customers are Major Baseball League and Chicago Cubs. Let me go forward. So the system essentially is a Lego, as we call, of different solutions, which are all created by the Scylla team. We have 4 PhDs in the team, including one of our co-founders, which has 20 years of experience in computer vision field. So we have a proprietary object detection, we have facial recognition, we have anomaly detection, we have intruder detection, digital fence. One of the unique features which we have, and most probably nobody else has on the market, that's tracking people and objects based on their appearance and then their behavior. And this is super useful, let's say, in the missing child functionality in the airport. I'm going to cover it later, but just to highlight some of the unique selling points of Scylla, besides accuracy and low false positive rate. So as you see here on the video, for those customers which have privacy regulations, or they have their own personal perception on how and when facial recognition should be used, they can avoid using Scylla facial recognition, and they can enable the proprietary person search system. In this case, let's say you are during a football game, right? And the parents have lost their child. They are coming to the centralized security room, and they are telling the security operators that their kid is lost, right? And then the sports arena is so huge. You have so many cameras on the different angles and distances that there is no way manually your security operator can find the child. In this case, we will take the photo of the kid from the parents, we'll put it into the Milestone system, or if they know the time where the kid is lost, we can search him in the system, in the Milestone system, and identify that child. And then forensically in real time, the system will continue searching for that specific child throughout the whole game and throughout the whole timeline of the game. And we'll find the child, we'll give examples and people similar to the kid. And essentially that will help find the child. We can also build the escape routes. and find if the person or the child was accompanied by another adult, right? Let's say the kidnapping case. This is also used by the law enforcement across the United States. We call that the BOLO case, be on the lookout, and also through the facility emergency contact tracing, right? So when we identify a person with elevated skin temperature, we can then, in the video management system, start searching for that person forensically and identify who that person had contact with without using his GPS signal or Bluetooth. Right. This can be also used in the retail space for the identification of customers based on appearance. So some of our select customers, which we would like to cover, we are working with Daimler manufacturing plants in the United States. Together with Milestone, we work with the 5th largest school district in the United States, which is Clark County School District. We work with customers from India to United States. We work in international airports, such as Muscat International Airport. We work in hospitals such as USC Verdugo Hills Hospital. We work with the Medellin Police, Taiwan Ministry of Defense, and many others. From the integrations that we have, and you can use Scylla, obviously the deepest integration where all of the 5 modules are running is Milestone. But we have a bunch of other video management system and camera manufacturers which we are running with, including Mobotics, the one that I mentioned to you, right? So Roy, and please take the stage from here, right? Because this part covers Milestone.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for that. Yeah, so let's talk about how we can put this together and what the platform power is about. And I think those are two major words. So it's community and platform power, two important ingredients to create these type of solutions. And by partnering with market leaders and innovators, we are basically able to bring the most value for our customers around the world. But it also means that it's possible and easy to adapt. Like Albert said, with that, it's really easy to upgrade your existing camera system with the intelligence that makes working with camera systems a lot more easier. So in the example where you, for example, need to find a missing person or searching for persons with COVID symptoms in that respect, it is the outcome that really matters, and that makes, for example, finding a person within a few minutes that's very valuable for a lot of customers. And open platforms in this way makes it also future proof. It protects their investment as the system requirements grow. And we all know that, for example, the advancements in technology and video technology in particular really advances extremely quick. And with that, we try to adopt all the best that our partners bring and implement it into the platform. And in this way, make use of the expertise of our partners like Scylla, doing that with the threat detection and AI algorithms. The solution stack is basically how we see that. So if you look at our solution stack, the platform, which is called Milestone X Protect, is in the middle. And with that, and like we mentioned before, the best of breed, we try to bring all the features and functionality that a proper platform should provide to the entire solution. So not only the Milestone system, but we have to make sure that we support all the devices. We need to make sure we support all the decoding protocols like H.264. We need to make sure our system is cyber secure. And those are all the big responsibilities that Milestone and X Protect delivers as a platform. And with help of our SDK, our MIP SDK, this is where Scylla comes in. So on top of that, we have our MIP SDK, and our partner Scylla develops based on that SDK and implements all the great stuff that they are developing and creating all the intelligence that you can use on top of the Milestone platform. On the below side, that's the hardware layer for Milestone and X Protect, and this is where we basically integrate all our hardware devices. So all the existing cameras that you already have maybe or planning to install, those can be, of course, upgraded with the artificial intelligence that Scylla can bring. And it also brings an easy adoption. So if you already have a platform and you want to upgrade the system, implement the platform like X Protect, and you're ready to go to make that upgrade to the next level with artificial intelligence and Scylla. So the hardware layer is a very important component. At this moment, we support roughly 10,000 different device drivers divided over 150 camera manufacturers. So that's quite a lot. And we also see a lot of progress in other types of devices like LiDAR sensors, radar sensors, access control systems. So there's a lot going on in the hardware space as well. But the most important thing is, of course, the MIP SDK and the development, which creates the added value on top of that and provides the joint value that we can bring together. So that's our solution stack, Albert.
Thank you very much, Roy. Cool. So many people start asking us why we should use video analytics, like a separate video analytics besides what they can already find in the cameras, or like some initial machine learning based systems which are already including in some of the VMS. Within some of the VMS providers, we always say that the future is behind the software, right? So that's why we like VMS systems such as Milestone, because they are not getting inside the hardware, right? So they continue doing what they do the best. They are not manufacturing their own cameras, right? So they basically improve the best camera solutions globally by getting all the feeds inside and controlling those cameras, and then producing the best in breed video management system. And that's what Scylla also aims to achieve. As you can see, the market is growing significantly. So it's showing almost 300% growth every year. So, and by the end of 2026, the market is expected to reach to almost $40 billion US, right? This is one of the hottest space in the security now, because as everything on the planet, everything is moving to software, because software is more sustainable, requires less maintenance. And we always compare us or Milestone in comparison to traditional video analytics providers. We are the Netflix, right? So you buy the software, then you pay for the license fee, annual, perpetual, or monthly, right? Depends on your needs. And then you continue getting better, faster, and then newer content, right? So you can continue watching new movies, new series, and then enjoying basically the solution that you bought. Whereas the companies that I mentioned previously, right? So which try to do everything themselves and have a closed ecosystem, first of all, they're not accurate enough, because the hardware limitation inside the camera limits them to a specific type of video analytics, which is very faulty. It produces high false positive rates and less accurate. The second is, we call them a DVD player, right? So you can buy the device, you can watch the movie, maybe you watch the second movie, but at some point of time when you wanna watch new movies, you have to throw away and buy a new one, right? With us, that's basically not happening. So we always continue improving together with Milestone and then giving you new content, new detection types, new accuracy level, better support and better content, right? Faster content. Many people also ask us, like, what's the future of the AI video analytics, right? So let's say if we sign up for Scylla on top of Milestone, what we are going to get? Essentially, companies like Scylla, we understand the necessity of getting this kind of technologies also to industrial space, right? And making them more acceptable globally. So Scylla is essentially thinking about building new behavior types, thinking about building more industrial safety or manufacturing safety solutions that can ultimately save lives, costs, and then reduce the liability for the enterprises in the private sector. So again, just to summarize the main benefits of using AI video analytics, let me just start with some history, right? So traditionally you have embedded video analytics, which is VMD. So those are very basic motion detection systems. So anything that moves, essentially what camera manufacturers are doing, they compare the differences within 2 frames. Those are the pictures captured by the camera, and they understand the change in pixels, right? So what's happening in the view. So if the pixels are changing and the rules are basically defined, so let's say, I don't know, the difference is 15 pixels or 16 pixels, then they trigger a motion. But anything that moves, a light, a shadow change in the environment, maybe a bee that's flying in front of the camera, this will trigger false alarm. Now imagine you operate a monitoring facility somewhere in United States or in Europe, right? And you have 40,000 cameras. So what we see with traditional camera providers, right, which try to embed analytics inside, that our customers, they basically face around 40 million false alarms per month. So with 40,000 cameras, you essentially get 1,000 false alarms per month per camera. That's ending up to 30 to 40 false alarms per day. So if you have just 20 people in your monitoring facility, there's no way you can respond to 40,000 cameras with 40 million alarms. Now, what they do, those customers basically use Scala initially for false alarm filtering, then they continue buying and adding new features. So, and we understand what's happening in the feed. We understand if there is a motion or not. We understand if there is a human that caused the motion or a vehicle. We understand if that human had the gun or not, and then only trigger a false alarm. So one of the cases we could reduce basically those 40 million false alarms just to 5 to 6,000 per month, which is essentially nothing if you have 20 operators, right? That saves you a lot of costs, but also that saves your people from fatigue, right? Because if your security operator has to respond to those many false alarms, what if somebody gets into the gun into the building, right? With the gun into the building, then if you have a fatigue, you will lose that person, and then you basically lose lives. That will be a huge liability for your company, plus the cost association with it. That's what Scala is doing. Basically, we improved existing cameras, we improved existing analytics by providing better, newer features such as gun detection, false alarm filtering, fight detection, vandalism detection, facial recognition, thermal screening, etc. And this is all centralized within one command and control into one server, right? But that doesn't mean that you cannot use Scala if you have spread locations. Like, let's say if you operate convenience stores across a state, right? You can still connect Scala with Scala Cloud or with hybrid devices and then continue analyzing those on-premise. And many people also ask us about the privacy, right? How we handle that. So Scala is fully GDPR and CCPA compliant. Customer is completely in charge of their own data. So if they are running the cloud instance, they can delete the data, they can basically control what Scala will save, and also they can control the data retention policy. We are also going to blur the faces, assuming you want to do that, right? If Scala is running on premise, then you also can enable or disable the data retention, all the privacy triggers in place, and essentially your data is not leaving your facility, right? So those are the protections in places and why you
what we also see in future that basically the increased use of drones. So Scala within our mobile surveillance unit, we can run either on drone if the drone is large enough or on top of the base station. So let's say you have 20 or 30 drones on top of Medellin, right, Colombia, and then the police has to do the surveillance of illegal activity. They have to do the surveillance of potential drug dealers or smugglers, right? And anytime you have to stop above the vehicle, you have to zoom in and you have to spend valuable time. With Scala, you don't have to do that. So the drone and the Scala connected to the drone or the base station will automatically detect an illegal activity, a potential anomaly, or a person with a gun. Will zoom and we will understand what's happening in the feed, and then using Milestone workflows, we'll send you all those alarms, and then you understand how to respond on top. And then drones, basically, plus the security robots in future are becoming one of the biggest trends. But we are not talking about the robots that look like toys. We look like the real robots, like, right? So the dogs that are running during the earthquakes, or the drones that are flying on top of the mining facility or the city. So where we also see an increased need of the Scala usage is for maintaining and understanding the safety of the manufacturing plants or oil and gas facilities. So recently, Roy and me have responded to a large RFP in Middle East, where they are looking to protect the customs, border control, but also mining and oil and gas facilities, both using CCTV cameras and drones, where everything will be concentrated into one command and control. And particular cases that they're interested in is basically smoke and fire. They're interested in potential intruders, digital fence, perimeter protection, understanding illegal activities such as vandalism, right, or somebody trying to get inside. But also think about the future, right? Think about asymmetrical warfare. So what if somebody wants to use a self-made drone which has no connectivity with the base station or GPS signal and just has one single target to blow up the mining facility? Now imagine the loss that they're going to possess. Now, if you use a command control application such as Milestone and then Scala drone detection, you can potentially mitigate those risks, right? And prevent the explosion by using anti-drone techniques. But the most important is to identify them on time. So essentially, Scala together with Milestone can be used also in the counterterrorism and asymmetrical warfare activities. Now, a big trend is also obviously COVID-19 protective measures. Like, many people are saying that this will go away, but what we see in Southeast Asia, that this hasn't gone away starting from SARS. So for the last 15 years, these protective measures are in place. So airports or large facilities continue using thermal screening. They continue doing social distancing monitoring. They continue counting people real time in the facility. They continue checking for PPE usage or mask usage. And then obviously one of the unique features that we provide, that's the person search and our contact tracing. So we see more and more businesses which are not panic buying like they were doing last year, but more doing a more knowledgeable decision by choosing Scylla together with the thermal scanning technology, right? We also see that, as I said before, SaaS will be the future. The software will eat the world. And then essentially Scylla and Milestone will be the Tesla, which is running the hardware, right? Hardware can be produced anywhere, such as cameras, but the software is going to run it, right? And Roy, I'll let you give some insights on this.
Yeah, I think as well, cloud solutions are definitely have a future. We also see that, for example, Milestone is offering a platform in the cloud with AWS, and this means that we already starting to shift towards a hybrid solutions where we can have the recording and the local video management and the recordings from it locally, while we do the centralized management in the cloud. And of course, sooner or later, the whole systems will be moving towards cloud solutions, but that also goes of course for the video analytics, and this makes management of video analytics and management of video surveillance systems extremely more easier, and returns or transitions the traditional capital expenditure of a lot of companies into an operational expenditure, so they can move away from that big investment that typically you will see in large scale surveillance systems, and that's a trend that we definitely see going forward with that.
Okay, thank you, Roy. So let me, we always like to show what we do, right? So let me give you a future, because what we do now is we detect suspicious activities, we detect anomalies in the environment, we detect dangerous objects, and also search for potential suspects or people that we need to find, like missing kids during the game. But the future again is behind the full centralized command and control, which will operate all types of IoT devices. So essentially what Scylla will become in future, it will be the platform which cooperates with video management system and gets all the, can analyze all kind of data coming from it, right? The data from the heat sensors, the data coming from drones, data coming from robots, data coming from the flying devices, helicopters, planes, and many type of other sensors, such as border control sensors. So I'll show you the existing integration with Milestone, where we use one of the plugins of the Milestone partners, and together with Scylla integrated with Milestones, we can provide a full command and control based on the drones and drone usage. So in this case, you'll see that we are flying the drone above the mall. We see suspicious activity, which is a vehicle approaching the group of people, right? Then we see people with guns getting closer and then basically trying to take hostages or kidnap those individuals. On top, you see the map of the mall, right? From the flying objects, which is a drone. And with the help of the partner provider, we can also control the drone, send the GPS signal, zoom in specific places. And this is all done automated, right? Now imagine the power you can get. So let's assume there is an active shooter situation or there's a terror attack in the mall. We notice those people inside the mall or approaching the mall, then we can basically send the command and control signals to all the nearby operators, right? Or the first responders, and they can continue watching this from the drone, from the CCTV cameras, and also from their dash cams, because Scylla can operate on the moving backgrounds, right? So this is what you can potentially have by opting in for Scylla and Milestone and the whole ecosystem, because it's not only Scylla, right? Imagine a number of providers and then ecosystem partners that Roy and his team have, such as this drone control provider, which all together can give you a lot of power during the first response activities.
Yeah, this is a really good example of how the community comes together with autonomous flying drones, or together with the video analytics on the platform. And of course, this is not the only limit. So you can think about other types of devices that you can use as well. And I think if you look also, for example, in public transportation, where people also start experimenting with autonomous vehicles, then this type of solutions will become more and more relevant, because who's going to protect the people inside an autonomous bus or a metro when there's no employees anymore to secure them, and that's going to be really interesting to see how those use cases become more and more relevant, also in other segments.
Perfect. This same issue is basically active if you have mining facilities, manufacturing plants, or oil and gas facilities, or large gas pipelines, right? Transnational wise, because those you cannot just protect them with sensors. Sensors trigger a lot of false alarms, right? But if you can have drones or cameras in a perimeter which will basically be connected to each other, talk to each other using different types of techniques, and then all be centralized within command and control, such as Milestone, then you have the power, right? The full protection, the full control on top of your operations and the safety of your facility.
Yeah. And efficiency, a lot of more efficiency, obviously.
Okay, cool. So Roy, I think we have a military discipline. We 40 minutes as planned. Now we'll leave the stage to participants for questions and answers.
Albert and Roy, while we are waiting for others, we have already 2 questions to you. So the first one will go to Albert. What integrations does Scylla have with Milestone?
So with Milestone, we have the full integration. We call it a two-way integration. Just to give you some basic knowledge on how Milestone works, you can have a one-way integration through ONVIF protocol when you just get the streams and different metadata from the VMS, and then you can show in your dashboard. But we also went further and we did a two-way integration together with some of our customers, where we do the whole analytics, we analyze the data, and then we push back the events and the whole metadata to the Milestone itself, and then show inside Milestone. Like basically you can get the power of Scylla inside the Milestone. And we recently have published all the plugins in the store, so you can just go on and try out them, right, together with the licenses.
Thank you very much. And one more for Roy. Why do clients turn to Milestone instead of other video management systems?
Yeah, I think that's basically the freedom of choice and one of the highest performing platforms available in the industry. So you can imagine that if you have a large scale system, like you are protecting 1,000 kilometers of border, and there's thousands of cameras, how do you going to protect them, and how do you going to make a platform that is efficient without using too much server hardware, for example? Then you really need a really performing platform to run all that. And then you also need the intelligence on top of that to make sure that you are able to monitor all these cameras. And you don't want to use hundreds of guards to check every camera. You need to make a smarter system. And that is why people are using an open platform like XProtect, so they can make sure that the value of the base, and that is really important, is highest as performing as possible, and allowing to adapt and create more efficiency with help, for example, like smart solutions that we offer with Scylla, because there's nobody able to monitor 1,000 cameras. But if you can make your cameras smarter and smarter by only showing and detecting what is really relevant to a guard, then Milestone and Scylla is one of the most powerful combinations available. So that's why they choose.
Yeah, I can continue on this topic. So I can bring a real example. So as I said, recently we have been responding to a very large RFP in Middle East. And part of that RFP was that the end customer has lots, like almost 5,000 cameras from different brands. And you can find pretty much everything there, right? So, and then when we were checking out the RFP, that we were kind of like, okay, what should we do? What kind of VMS should we use? So we can connect all those cameras in place. At the same time, we can run Scylla on top and not losing the productivity, because that was one of the main parts of RFP. And I can tell you right like straight away, the Milestone is the only one which was able to support all of them. You could find anything starting from the old Partisan cameras, ending old Bosch cameras, new Mobotex cameras, Axis cameras, Hikvision, Dahua cameras. So they had almost everything. Seems like the customer was basically just selecting and trying everything and installing across the border control. And then when you have that variety of custom basically solutions in place, you need a system powerful enough to be able to connect all of them. And we had two options. Either we had to go and develop everything through ONVIF protocol, but Scylla will never would be able to do that alone, or show it in the dashboard, or Milestone. So Milestone was the first choice for us. And then the price plus quality is basically, it's not comparable, right? So if you want something powerful and with a good support, and don't forget also what's important is the ecosystem, right? The amount of partners that Milestone has, because you can basically find pretty much anything you need within the Milestone marketplace, which is one of the most powerful features they have. Like, again, coming from engineering space, why people choose to make the development on top of Linux or Unix-based platforms, not Windows, because of the ecosystem, because the Unix has the more friendly and more developer-friendly ecosystem. That's why everybody chooses that, right? So this is kind of why Scala chooses to work with Milestone.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you very much, Albert and Roy. We have one more question to both of you. What product solutions are the hottest ones right now for Scala and for Milestone? What is in the most demand from customers?
Yeah, I'll go first. So our gun detection was and stays one of the most demanded features, because gun detection essentially in the markets that we operate Middle East, Latin America, and United States. Gun violence is a huge issue. So gun detection, I would say, is on the top, but people don't want to just buy gun detection, right? Because when you deal with the security officers or the enterprises, they're quite tech savvy. They want to get a full-fledged system which will basically identify who is the gunman, his pathway, the escape route, identity, the behavior, number of people, the floor plan, etc. And Scala is the only platform which basically provides the best in breed gun detection system, but also provides all those capabilities like person search, right? So you can't find platforms like Scala which do all that and within those accuracies. And again, to summarize, Scala is not a rule-based system. So we're not using heuristic or machine learning approach. We're using completely proprietary deep learning approach based on convolutional neural networks, which provides you the best accuracy and basically the lowest false alarm rate. The second most demanded feature now, because that's kind of where we work with the large monitoring centers, is false alarm filtering, because many of them are losing tons of money just because they cannot provide a good service, because they use traditional video analytics, right? So motion detection based. And then again, if you operate the large amount of cameras, there's no way you can support all of them if you are not utilizing a system like Scala, which will filter out all those false alarms and give you meaningful information out of the number of feeds you have. But the future is, again, is behavior detection. And we see a lot of integrations on drones, because potentially you don't want to detect a violent situation, you want to prevent it, right? So you want to have a system in place which can prevent crime, but also act within ethical boundaries. So that's where we as a team strive to be.
Yeah, and for Milestone, it's a little bit different, of course, because Milestone X-Protect is basically the same throughout all our products. So we start with X-Protect Essential, which is basically free of charge product, until X-Protect Corporate, and across the line, those are the same products. Obviously, there is, as soon as you go up in that lineup, our features become more and more, of course, and more advanced. But what we do see a lot that people really appreciate is the scalability. So the way we can scale our system from small to big. That's one interesting fact. And what we also see, the demand for our security. So how well is a system secured? We also discussed a little bit about GDPR, and to be able to GDPR compliant cybersecurity is a very important basis of that. So the data that you store needs to be secure. You need to have all the features and encryptions in place to make sure that the system is safe from a cybersecurity perspective. And yeah, that's one of the not as such as a feature, but the functionality as a platform that we offer, which is really important for a lot of our customers.
And we as a company, understanding the need of the cyber risk mitigation, right? We made a conscious choice. So not increasing the license prices. Recently, we migrated to digital identity management providers, such as Okta, which is one of the most secure identity management providers globally. So now our cloud customers will continue using Scala on top of Okta without actually paying more. Okta is one of the highest quality solution providers globally, but obviously it costs. But we as a company, we protect the data of our customers and we want to give them peace of mind. And we basically include all those features continuously without charging customers more, because we want to be an ethical company and we want to provide them peace of mind that by using Scala, they get a protection. They shouldn't be worried about their data or basically data breach, but they should know that using Scala, they will be protected and their data will be protected.
Yeah, and to add to that, I think that is also why software solutions like Scylla and Xprotect are so interesting, because it grows with time. The Milestone pricing has been the same for the last decade or so as well, and we do see a lot of increasing features and functionality, and also in the cybersecurity space. So with each release, there's something new regarding cybersecurity. For our next release, we are also planning to have our Europrice certification for GDPR compliance. So, and that's all incorporated in our default license structure, and that means that the system grows and even gains more value over time, because the features increases, the pricing remains the same. So basically, the value of the product grows and grows over time, and that makes platforms like this really interesting for customers.
So essentially, the Netflix of security, as we said before.
Yeah, that's a good comparison indeed.
Okay, so thank you very much, Albert and Roy. We don't have questions so far, so.
Okay, perfect. Roy, maybe you close the stage.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it was great presenting for you guys. I hope you liked it, and I want to thank Albert for the invitation for this webinar. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. And if you need any other information, you can contact us on the details that you see here on this slide. You can send me an email, and of course you can also visit the Milestone marketplace, and if you search for Scylla, you can find all the information and documentation about the integration that we have with Scylla. So please visit that one, because it's really nice and cool to see what we can do together. And again, thank you for joining, and see you next time.
Thank you very much, Roy. It's my pleasure. Guys, you can see the information about Scylla and Milestone, so you can contact Rob or Roy or myself anytime, or just like fill out the form or just call us. So we're happy to support you. And just to summarize all this, we as a company believe that the power of future is behind SaaS and open ecosystems, right? So we don't believe in closed ecosystem providers that try to trap you in or lock in the subscription, that you should use their camera, their system, their video management system, their analytics, and their servers. So we believe that by partnering with different solutions such as Milestone, Scylla, or camera manufacturers, you'll get best-in-breed detections, best-in-breed analytics, and best-in-breed support. So thank you very much for attending, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you very much, Roy. Have a great day.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the day.